Okay, Derbyites, welcome back to one of our final Slugfest of this Emmy season. The creative arts are tomorrow, and then the Emmys are the week after that. But we have a creative arts kind of pre-show that we're going to do today, what we can expect tomorrow. And Charlie, what are you most stressing out about tomorrow?
Hold on.
Wow.
Whoa. I got to tell you, comedy guest actress is really, really bugging me. Right now I have Uzo up front. She is so great in her episode. She's really funny. But Laverne Cox is really the center of that episode, and she is just she's just really magnificent throughout the whole episode. And then I also think Joan Cusack could possibly pull this one off, or possibly Melissa McCarthy, and then there's Tina Fey and Natasha Lyonne. But with the other four, I really have no idea. Someone help me. Anyone.
Matt.
Look, it's a hard race, and you got 3 Orange is the New Black tapes here, and it's sort of like, who does well in each other's tapes and things like that. But I think, since it is so close, I've got to go with Uzo, because I feel like that's the most sort of memorable, quirky character of the... it reminds me a little bit of Christian Clemenson from Boston Legal.
Oh, yeah.
When he was able to win the supporting actor over. She's got the tics, she's got the quirks and things like that. And that's why I'm going with her at the end of the day.
She was also, of all these characters, her character is the most famous. People were dressing up as crazy guys for Halloween. I probably couldn't even tell you the names of most of these characters here. I mean, not counting the Saturday Night Live people. But yeah, she was the most over the top on the show, and that always wins Emmys when you're over the top. And she actually submitted the same episode that Laverne Cox did. A lot of our pundits are predicting Laverne Cox over Uzo, so I'm curious what you guys think about that.
I would like to call out one of our senior editor, Chris Beecham, on this one, because he confused me. So in the lead actress comedy race and comedy actor race, he was saying how if you're going to win a comedy award, you have to be funny, and that's his motto, and that's what he was sticking with. And then he sends us his comedy rankings, and he has Laverne Cox at #1. Now, I get it. She's been all over the place. It's a great episode showcase for her, but she is not freaking funny at all. Uzo Aduba is the hilarity in there. Laverne Cox is not. She has a serious kind of dramatic storyline throughout the whole thing. So I don't really understand his logic there, and I know Tom is also picking her, and I was curious to see why Tom is picking Laverne Cox. But I had Uzo after our Slugfest on this exact race, and then I switched to Joan Cusack because I just feel like she has a lot of industry backing. She was able to get 3 nominations in the drama side, and they were flipping to comedy, and they dragged her over to the comedy side. She's got a great episode that stands out between all this Orange is the New Blackness going on, the tape, and all the tapes, 2 episodes that they submitted. And, she's got that hilarious... I still think of it, I mean, between Uzo's peeing on the floor and Joan Cusack's wedding gown, huge hospital fallout that she has, I don't know which one was better, which one was funnier. So right now I have Joan Cusack, but I would be, unlike Marcus with the drama actor race, I'd be happy if I was wrong and Uzo won, but I don't get the Laverne Cox thing. So is anybody predicting her even in second that could explain it?
I have her in second.
Yeah, as do I. Yeah, totally. Laverne Cox, sorry, I did have her in fourth for a while. I've moved her up because I've just started to drink the Kool-Aid, but Laverne Cox is really good. She's really good in this episode, but it's all about Uzo Aduba for me. And I just can't imagine her not winning. Not only is she funny, not only is she the breakout star of the show from season 1, not only is she all over the press, I mean, her PR campaign is off the charts. Not only do we have all of that, but it's actually really, really good acting. And I think a lot of actors will really respond to Crazy Eyes. And if she doesn't win, I'm gonna do the I will cut you speech, and I'm gonna just go crazy, and I'll be the new Crazy Eyes because I can't imagine how she could possibly lose. And the only spoiler for me is Melissa McCarthy.
Because she's the funniest, right?
She's the laugh out loud funniest, yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, we don't want to take up too much time on each of these categories.
No, let's not. What else is giving you heartache or heartburn, or what else is going to be tough to call tomorrow? Because comedy guest actor ain't that easy either. I mean, I've got Steve Buscemi in first, and that sounds ridiculous. I can't imagine why I've put that in first. But when I saw the episode, when I saw the episodes, I was just I ate that up. I thought he was awesome in Portlandia, but. Can you imagine him being Bob Newhart, Jimmy Fallon, Nathan Lane, Louis C.K. and Gary Cole? Like, I don't know what to make of that category. What are you guys putting in
It's
first?
really tough. I have Jimmy Fallon in first because of the whole Saturday Night Live thing. He has an hour and a half to submit. And this year the guest stars are submitting the whole thing, so it's not going to be edited down. So they will see like Justin Timberlake perform. But I don't think that's going to hurt him. I mean, he's Jimmy Fallon. He won this 2 years ago. He's going up against last year's winner, Bob Newhart, who I think was not that good in his submission. I'm sorry, he wasn't that good. Does anyone want to stand up for Bob Newhart here?
Oh, well, Chris has got him in first. Chris thought that he was fantastic, and I'd love to hear it from him. But he told me that he just thought process of elimination. Bob Newhart did it for him. But is he going to be 2 in a row for this role? I don't think so.
No. I think my favorite though was Nathan Lane from Modern Family for that wedding. He was so great in the finale. He made me laugh more than anyone else. But then Steve Buscemi is the wild card because he's on Portlandia, which is not a really known show.
I would say it kind of is because it got into supporting actor in a comedy series. It's up for writing and directing. It's a known show, and it has its fans.
Well, I don't know. It's really hard.
But
what else? Go for it.
No, go on.
No, I was just, what else? And then if we can't make up our mind on that one, is there anything that we think's a slam dunk? Like, really? Because on the drama side, it's just as hard.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is Allison Janney really that big of a lock? I mean, a lot of people now are switching out of Allison Janney and going to Kate Burton because of her episode.
Right.
I mean, you know, and I'm with you, Marcus, on the Nathan Lane thing. He's never won an Emmy before, and he was actually the funniest in this whole category. So I think I have him in first just because I think he's the funniest and he hasn't won before, but the hell do I know?
Right.
That wouldn't surprise me. I have him in fourth, but it wouldn't surprise me at all when I was watching the finale and just just every time Nathan Lane would get that one great bit in there, it was priceless.
Yeah. I think Nathan Lane deserves to win some hardware. He needs to win an award for his long work on TV and film. And I'm reminded of him because I just watched The Birdcage recently, obviously, for obvious reasons, after what happened last week, still getting over that. And reminded of not only Robin Williams and how wonderful and brilliant of a comedian he was, but Nathan Lane, I believe, is almost in that category as well. And he has never won an Emmy. And he's been on so many great shows as a guest actor, and he's so good on Modern Family. So I'm starting to turn around on him because when we first had this chat a few weeks ago, I was really not that focused on that episode. But it's a good one.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, I mean, what about?
I think with regard to the drama actress thing, I think Jenny is she's the one that we have the least doubts about. I think. Or I think, at least with me, we have the least doubts about her. I really have no idea when it comes to drama guest actor. I'm actually pretty secure in predicting that Joe Morton's going to win that one. I'm just wondering what you all have to say. What do you all have to think about that?
Yeah. As for the actress, I think Jenny is a very close lock if you look at her experts. All 13 experts say Janie. But then when you go to the editors and you have Chris is predicting Kate Burton, I think maybe one other, I don't have it in front of me, but Kate Burton has a lot of support, and it came late for her after people saw her episode. Janie's support was the whole year. Burton's was just in the past couple weeks. Yeah. And then for actor, I also have Joe Morton. His character is just so over the top. I keep saying that. He's also so beloved on the show, and even though he plays kind of a villain, but he's a villain that you love. and he gives all the great speeches, the great Joe Morton speeches on Scandal. And
exactly. That's why I have Morton, because he has the explosive scenes. I mean, he's a standout. Jeff Bridges was a front runner, I guess, when we first were all doing the predictions for Emmy nominations, but there was nothing to his episode, so I think he's at best maybe third or fourth.
Yeah, there's nothing else in that category that really stands out as much as Joe Morton, and as much as I like him and the character, then if you want to argue against him, you might want to say that Scandal and the acting on Scandal, apart from Dan Bukatinsky, who won last year, let's put that aside for a sec because I have some theories about that one. There's a lot of maybe melodramatic type acting on that show. I'm trying to say this in a diplomatic way, and perhaps maybe that might be penalised slightly, and people might want to go for something a bit more nuanced. And if that's the case, then I'm hoping they might turn their eyes to Reggie Cathy, or maybe to
I think Reggie Cathy is a big threat in this one. I think he's a very serious player in this.
Yeah.
I mean, he has such gravitas whenever he speaks, and just I would love to see him. And we don't know if he's ever gonna get the chance for this role again.
Yeah, that's right. So what else is happening?
Robert Morse's character is not on the show anymore, so this is their last chance to give it to
beloved
him.
character nominated
But he
over
hasn't
and over
been,
again.
And also Mad Men actors and actresses have never won. I think the general rule when you're predicting is if someone from Mad Men is nominated, put them in number 6 because you're going to be
pretty much. Yeah, they're not going to win, which is really sad.
And that's not a slight on the show at all. That's a slight on the Emmys.
Not.
Yeah, that's a slight on the Emmys.
They just don't want to give them awards. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it will go down in history as being such a ridiculous statistic from that awards group. And hopefully, maybe next year or even this year, but probably next year they might rewrite that. But tomorrow there's a lot of categories being announced. Obviously, there's 70, I think, categories.
80.
80. It's just off the chart. It's ridiculous, really. And they've broken up the reality category, and I think the reality host category is being announced tomorrow. Correct me if I'm wrong. That one is slightly interesting because Heidi Klum, Tim Gunn won last year. Tom Bergeron has won. Jeff Probst used to win all the time. He hasn't been in the category for a while. And it seems that a lot of us appear to be voting for Jane Lynch. Does she seem just like the most obvious selection because in that show she's in it a lot and she makes a lot of jokes and she's really engaging and she's, you see her quite a bit, and plus, she is quite an Emmy favorite. She's been nominated a few times. She's won for Glee. Does that just appear to be, a no-brainer?
Okay, so I was going for Lynch after I watched all 6 episodes here, and after I watched them, I said this is an easy call. It's Jane Lynch. Because she dominates from beginning to end, just like Jeff Probst used to. She gets right up there next to the contestants and she talks to them. And she's with Martin Short. She's making jokes about Julie Bowen taking her Emmys all those years. She talks to Jason Alexander about how he never won an Emmy. There's a lot of Emmy talk in this episode, which I wonder if this is why they submitted it. But someone in the forums, I wish I could remember who, he or she said that the Tim Gunn Heidi Klum episode, that's the one where Tim Gunn uses his save. He gets 1 save per season. And he saved a deaf contestant, everyone's favorite contestant. He got voted out. Heidi Klum voted him out, and then Tim Gunn brought him back. And the episode ends with everyone in tears, crying. The contestants are hugging Tim Gunn. Thank you for saving him. Thank you for saving him. It's this huge get-together at the end of the episode.
Wow.
And I made a joke that if Heidi and Tim win an Emmy, Heidi needs to thank Tim Gunn for saving the contestant that she voted out. I wonder if this is almost like a coup between them to win an Emmy to vote out the deaf contestant. But I think it's, when you think of it that way, and all the tears and all the emotion, and I guess I don't watch the show, but I guess this was the most popular episode of the year. All of that kind of came together, and so I switched from the more deserving Jane Lynch to Tim and Heidi.
One thing that I question about that, though, is, remember, we all thought Tom Bergeron was going to repeat last year because when we watched the episodes, he had a really strong one. It was the first Dancing with the Stars after the Boston Marathon bombings, and he had this wonderful moment at the beginning where he was talking about it. And if he couldn't win for that, I mean, why would it seem so certain that Heidi Klum and Tim Gunn would win for this type of emotional episode?
It's possible.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you, and I accept your apology.
What else, guys? What other categories?
In the chat box, Kevin Baker said Joe Morton has so many speeches, his episode should have been titled All About Monologues.
Yeah.
What
Well,
about casting? Comedy casting. Marcus, do you think your interview is gonna just clean this one up? From Orange Is the New Black?
I don't even think they needed to campaign. It's the only new show here. New shows almost always win casting. There was an exception last year. Didn't 30 Rock win for its goodbye season? But for casting, you look at the new shows. There's only one this year. It's Orange Is the New Black. And look, they have the biggest cast. She told me, the casting director told me, her name's Jennifer Houston. Their cast is bigger than Game of Thrones.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah. Well, what about on the flip side then? If it's a new show, do you think True Detective has the upper leg on the first time nominated Breaking Bad?
I don't know. That's tougher.
Yeah.
Because this feels like a really overdue nomination, doesn't it? Like I've read a few articles about it, how they finally were nominated in this category. These two casting directors, or three, or however many there are. And I was thinking that Breaking Bad might win that one, but it's really tough to say.
It's really tough because True Detective gets. Okay, I think how casting works is that if you're a returning show, you only submit the guest stars or the new series regulars. But if you're a new show, you get to submit, tapes or reels with everyone. So that means Breaking Bad is only gonna, if I'm right, Breaking Bad's only gonna submit reels that have the guest stars in it, whereas True Detective is gonna submit Woody Harrelson and what's the other guy's name? Matthew something? I don't remember.
Something, yeah, McConaughey, something, yeah.
He's going nowhere quickly.
True. No, it's just nobody.
I would say True Detective has that one, but who knows? I mean, there could be a Breaking Bad love fest, and we could see it win everything.
I think.
What? Go ahead.
Were you going to continue on this? Because I was going to switch to another category.
No, please go for it.
The other thing that's going to be interesting is that we have the Variety Series Writing and Directing trophies are going to be presented tomorrow as well, because of the contract with the guilds where they alternate. This year they're going to be on the primetime telecast. They're going to be doing the Variety Special Writing and Directing Emmys. So I was wondering, I think the writing category is really interesting this year. I just want to flip to this. I have my nominees printed out. I mean, you have returning the Colbert Report, The Daily Show, The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon's up, and then you have 3 comedic sketch shows: Inside Amy Schumer, Key and Peele, and Portlandia. I mean, what do you guys think about that? I think that's really. I really am prepared for almost any win in that category.
Yeah, I would love Schumer to pull that off.
Me too. That'd be amazing. I think it's totally deserved. Colbert is winning, I think, too. But what a great category! I wish it was the year that it was on the primetime telecast, so just so we could see what they would do. How they
writing, the nominee packages.
Yeah. I just love. Unfortunately, we're stuck with the other side, which is never as interesting. That's a really strong category, isn't it? And credit to the voters for putting in Schumer and Key and Peele in there, especially, and Portlandia.
Well, Portlandia did get in last year, but good on them for returning it.
Yeah, Portlandia really exploded this year, I must say, more than I ever thought it would. When I first received those DVDs from IFC, 3 years ago, and it was unheard of. And Chris and I received these DVDs in these really plain packages to interview Fred Armisen. I was like, "What is this show?" And now it's a real player at the Emmys. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So it might do well this year. We'll see.
And and I know I said Colbert's winning this, but in some ways, maybe if there was an upset, it would come Portlandia's way because it does have more momentum in its back. There's obviously, it does have more witness back, got a supporting actor nomination. And I don't know if having less writers on your list impresses them more. I don't know how the ballots have them listed, but the fact that there's 5 people writing Portlandia as opposed to 20 on the Colbert Report could be an issue.
Yeah. Can we just 24 Emmy is raising 500 Sundays for Variety Special over the Kennedy Center Honors, which wins a lot. Do any of us think that the Kennedy Center Honors is vulnerable?
I'm
Yes.
never voting against the Kennedy Center.
That's what I
Honors
say.
again.
Yeah.
Because I voted against them last year. It was the 12-12-12 concert for Hurricane Sandy. It was like
Right.
4 hours, maybe something like 6 hours. It was
6 hours.
so good. And I remember I did a Slugfest. But I don't have to watch the whole thing. But I did a Slugfest, and I just went on and on and on about this thing. A lot of people changed their predictions because of me, and I ended up getting it wrong.
Oh no, Dixon.
I'm never ever going against Kennedy Center again.
I do think I would put the Kennedy Center Honors in first place, but I think Billy Crystal 700 Sundays could pull that one off. It's a very critically acclaimed one-man show he did.
That.
So I think he could very well pull that one out.
Yeah, I saw 500 Sundays when he was down in Sydney with it, and that was a great show. I haven't seen the HBO special, but it was that's really nice, and there's a lot of love for Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
Sure is.
And 24 Emmy says if Billy Crystal wins, we might see him dedicate the award to Robin Williams. Don't make me cry again.
Yeah, man, that'd be amazing. It'll be a great moment. Guys, do you love the main title design category as much as I do? Given we're all Emmy nerds from probably when we were kids, I love that category. It's always my favorite category. Every year I love it. And this year, Black Sails, Cosmos, Masters of Sex, Silicon Valley, and True Detective are nominated, and they're really, really good choices, and I would love to see any of them win. I really love all of those so much. And now I'm starting to sound fanboyish. Oh no, God help me. But I think that one is going to be Cosmos. And someone else in the chat room said this earlier, that Cosmos is going to win a whole bunch of things. I think it was Irish Movie Lover.
Yeah, it was Irish Movie, and I was going to bring that point up that Cosmos is probably going to be the big winner out
the greatest show ever. I just love that show. I love Neil deGrasse Tyson.
And he'll win an Emmy for that.
He will win.
He is listed as the host of the show. He is listed as one of the nominees.
So that's really exciting for tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that, and I think it will win the main titles. But just back on main titles, do you guys have a favorite main title from last year, and maybe of the nominees?
True Detective. I mean, say what you want about the show, but that title sequence is brilliant, and the song too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he didn't get in for song, right?
No, I don't think he did.
I don't know if it was written originally for it. It would only get in if it was originally for it.
True.
Okay.
True.
But,
like the theme for The Sopranos, Woke Up This Morning, was never nominated because it wasn't written originally for The Sopranos.
Okay.
Yeah, so, the nominees were Black Sails, Cosmos, Magic City, Sleepy Hollow, and The Spoils of Babylon.
You know what? Sleepy Hollow.
Are you talking about main title design or main title theme music?
No, that was a theme. That was theme. Just so you know, True Detective is not nominated for theme, only for titles.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite.
I can't believe Regina Spektor was snubbed for Orange is the
I
New Black.
know. What is that all about?
That's
Okay, so maybe you don't like the titles because they are. Some people hate those titles, and I really want. I was saying to my wife the other day, I want Family Guy to do a spin-off of that titles where they just have like all these moles singing the song on the camera, because that's what I think when I watch it. It's really, really hard to watch, but it's too close. It's just too much information. But that song is awesome. Love that song. And why wasn't it nominated? It was written specifically for the show.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. My favorite theme song is the Sleepy Hollow one. I know no one ever talks about Sleepy Hollow, but that's a great song. It sticks in your head. And then for design, I would give it to either Cosmos or True Detective.
Yeah.
I think the Silicon Valley title sequence, it's very brief, but I love the way it's designed.
It's very brief.
It's very brief, but I love the way it looks. I love it.
I love that as well.
I haven't had a huge amount of respect for main title design since West Wing was robbed back in 2000 by the Thames Kingdom. So, but no, I like True Detective. I think that's a good one. But in Masters of Sex, I find some people love it, but I just think it's too on the nose.
It's too much.
It's too obvious.
It's like Dexter. It's Dexter instead of it being bloody and with knives. It's obviously phallic object.
Dexter won this category.
Dexter won it. That's right.
Yeah.
That was Showtime.
I can see Masters of Sex winning this.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
God.
Can we all
But
agree that TV shows, the fact that they're all abandoning theme songs is a huge mistake.
It's a crime.
Especially on network. I think wasn't Elementary nominated here last year on the CBS show, and I watched Elementary the other day on TV. I'm pointing to my TV. I don't know why. And they have
That's what you were watching it on.
They have completely erased the theme song. Now it's just a 2-second title card that says Elementary. Emmy nominated theme song. It's not even there anymore.
Heaven forbid if you lose 10 seconds of airtime to watch a bit of art every week. Like, that's just ludicrous. How ridiculous is that?
Can I say, I was a bit snarky for them not awarding West Wing. I really props to them for giving Bored to Death the win in 2010. Because I'm so glad that's an Emmy-winning show, and that was such a good opening sequence.
I'll take your word for it because I can't remember. Can we move over to original music and lyrics? That's another category that we sometimes hear a lot about. One year in particular, it even was aired on the main show because they wanted to get Justin Timberlake and John Matticone up on stage, and then of course that Oscar song that Hugh Jackman sung won instead, and we got to see
Dan
the
Harmon.
guy who created Dan Harmon, who was he had the personality of a peanut that particular night, and he admits this, by the way. He admits that he just had no personality because he was so nervous when he accepted that Emmy. This year we have a bunch of pretty cool songs, especially the high-profile one, "Home for the Holiday." That seems to be the favorite because we all know it, but that category is all over the place. Anything could win there. It depends on what those particular voters decide on the day. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have the song that opened the Tony Awards last year, and that's been a winning one before. Although that was a much better number because I don't think you can top the number. It's Not Just for Gays anymore, which is just such a brilliant number. When I saw that number, I said, "Oh, this is going to win an Emmy next year, no question." I don't know. It's tough. I'm just going to be the contrarian and say it's going to go to the song from A Christmas Carol, the concert, because Bob Christensen was very nice enough to be interviewed by us, and
let's back him.
And he's an absolute class act all the way. So Bob, if you're watching, that's for you, and I'll expect my check in the mail very soon.
I will say that Kurt Sutter, for Sons of Anarchy, he's the creator on that show. He has gone out of his way to let his feelings be heard about what he feels about the Emmy Awards, because they always snub him. But they nominated him this year. He's part of the writing for the song called "Day Is Gone." And if there's any justice in the world, they will give him the Emmy because I want to see his speech. What will he say on that speech?
Oh man, that'd be so entertaining. That show is finally recognized.
I just want to see him bring up his wife, who is Katie Seagal, and have her dressed as his old lady, just as his biker lady. And I just want to see them like do something crazy on stage.
Do something crazy. Just throw things at people. I don't know. But
or just start making out to the point where the woman who is supposed to escort them off stage is like really physically uncomfortable.
That'd be great. Hey,
what about
forever wants to talk about costumes. Can we talk about costumes as well while we're at?
And after that, I want to go to a 24 Emmy one I talked about before because I think it's pretty interesting. Is the best character voiceover performance that has Daniel Craig and Whoopi Goldberg and Jeremy Irons. That's a big one.
Let's
after
do
that, we'll
now.
hit
Let's
animation,
talk about that.
But costumes.
Let's talk about narrator, and then we'll move over to costumes because we are all experts, obviously, on the costume design awards.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely talk about that. But narrator
especially
is a big
Matt,
one.
who loves doing changes in the middle of stuff.
He just did like a full quick change, like a J-Lo type concert arena spectacular. It was pretty good.
For Gold Derby. You've
got to make the effort for Gold Derby. Yeah, absolutely. So narrator, that's got a few big names. I mean, you know what? We could see Billy Crystal win for 700 Sundays. We could see Whoopi Goldberg win for narrator. We could even see Nathan Lane win. And wouldn't that be awesome to see the comic relief guys up there? Obviously, because of what's going on at the moment in Hollywood and the world is still mourning. And that would be a really cool thing to happen tomorrow.
Right.
I mean,
That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's all I got.
I'm looking at these nominees, and you look at this. This is like, and this would be like, most 4 out of the 5 nominees you could see in like any performance category. You know, Jeremy Irons, Daniel Craig, Jane Lynch, Whoopi Goldberg, and Henry Strozier, I believe is how you pronounce his name. The 5th person in the group, who I'm not trying to diminish. He is a veteran narrator of many different programs. And any one of these I can honestly see winning.
I hope he does, just so he can say, my first Emmy nomination, and I beat out Whoopi Goldberg and Jane Lynch and Daniel Craig and Jeremy Irons. That'd be the coolest thing.
So good.
Yep.
That needs to happen.
Last year,
I've got to interject. Sorry, Ash just said the best comment that I've seen all day. I always think this. Downton Abbey wins music composition all the time. Beautiful music, don't get me wrong, but really, it's the same music every episode. There's nothing really new about it, in my humble opinion. And let me say it once more, The Good Wife should have been nominated. Of all the categories to be snubbed, that music from Hitting the Fan was extraordinary, and it should have been nominated for David Buckley. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now. You can continue.
Well, even more interesting what Ash said was, if it wins, he will shoot a bush, and I don't really know what that means.
I'm not sure what that means, but I'm thinking it's something painful. So.
Bushes, watch out.
Yeah,
Bushes, watch out. You're going to get shot. Yeah.
I hope he means tree bushes, because...
There are very serious ramifications if it means a person.
Well, it depends on what part of the world he's from and what what
Exactly.
they like to do down there in those areas. But yeah.
And last year, Lily Tomlin won the narrator, and she was actually there. She won for the elephant thing. I'm wondering if any of these that you just mentioned in the narrator category, I wonder if any of them will actually be there. Maybe Jane Lynch, because she's nominated there and for host.
True. But
But
Daniel
Jeremy
Craig
Irons,
is probably not losing sleep. Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg might be there. I mean, she does. She has won a daytime Emmy. So I mean, I don't think it would. And plus, I think she's also nominated as a producer of the program as well. So I think she's going to want to be. She'd probably want to be there to be representing the program.
Is the animal votes gonna split in the narrator category? It's a very animal-heavy category.
Yes, you hit the
Lions.
nail on the head.
We've got penguins. We've got cute animals. Like what? Like, is Whoopi Goldberg gonna win because she's got mums?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, I don't think if
maybe.
you're a Penguin fan, you're not going to vote for moms. You're just not going to do it.
It's not. No, it's really against your whole line of thinking, isn't it?
And then they splitted this category this year, so we have narrator, and the other side of the coin we have character, voiceover, performance. Chris Diamantopoulos.
Diamantopoulos.
Yeah, he's a funny actor from episodes. Yeah.
He's also on Arrested Development.
Yep.
Yeah, Stephen Full, Seth Green, Maurice LaMarche, who has won this a couple times.
Yeah, he won.
Seth MacFarlane is up for Family Guy. Harry Shearer. Who wants to talk about Harry Shearer?
Oh, gosh.
God, please, Emmy voters, come on. Pull your head in. He has to win. That's it. There's no two ways about it.
Once he wins, we can talk about, because he is so deserving for his voice work, just simply on The Simpsons. That's just on that one show. But once he wins, and let's hope he does tomorrow. God, I hope he does. Then we have to start doing the same thing for Billy West and John DiMaggio, who are two great voiceover artists. Who you might know as Billy West is Fry on Futurama. He's also Professor Farnsworth and Dr. Zoidberg. And
wow, you do that so well.
Thank you. And John DiMaggio is Bender the Robot. They are such great voice actors, especially Billy West, has been working in this industry for so long. We need to get him an Emmy too.
Yeah,
and now,
that's true.
Can you school me on this a little bit? When this category was created, they gave it to the whole Simpsons cast, right? At the same time.
It was a juried award. It was a juried award. So this was one where there weren't any formal. It was back when there weren't any formal nominees. The category as a nominee category only came about fairly recently. I think it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
And before that, it was just juried.
And the whole cast got it at once, right? They said you all get it, but not
Most of the
Harry
cast got it. Most of the cast were awarded, I believe.
Okay.
including Marsha Wallace, the dearly departed Marsha Wallace, who plays Mrs. Krabappel.
Tom just said that Whoopi Goldberg actually sometimes takes a train from New York out to L.A.
Yeah, because she hates flying so much. Yeah,
that's crazy. But I mean, she could leave Saturday morning, and with 80 categories, probably still make it for her category.
She'll be fine. She'll be fine. Yeah, she won't miss a thing. She won't miss a thing. Let's talk about costumes, and then I'm going to say goodbye. So costumes: Boardwalk Empire, Downton Abbey, Game of Thrones, Mad Men, Once Upon a Time, and then on the miniseries side, it's American Horror Story, House of Versace, whatever that is, The Normal Heart, Sherlock. All right, and The White Queen. So basically a lot of period stuff there, pretty much all period, all the time. It sounds like an Oscar category. I usually go for Once Upon a Time because my kids call that show Big Hats, Big Dresses, and generally that's what I am going to vote for. I know zero about costumes, but I really must say I really like the costumes. I'm being honest here. I really love the costumes on Game of Thrones, but that means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and they submitted the wedding episode, the purple wedding episode, which so you're going to have all the fancy wedding things of Westeros, which I believe is what I'm going to call my clothing line.
I can't wait to buy that stuff. It's going to be awesome.
Kind of gay if you're looking forward to that, but okay.
Hey, whatever. That's cool.
Okay. It was just I think that really does have that could have an upper hand there.
Yeah, I mean, Game of Thrones is what I have. What do you have, Matt?
Game of Thrones. It won 2 years ago, so they've already won in costumes before.
What normally wins here? Is it Boardwalk Empire that normally wins the costume award, or Mad Men has won? Maybe
Downton Abbey won, didn't it?
Downton Abbey.
The Borgias. The Borgias. The Borgias.
Because there was so much.
The Borgias. The Tudors. Pushing Daisies. The Tudors.
Wow.
The Tudors.
A lot of Tudors.
Rome.
The Borgias had. I think the Borgias was Gabriella Pascucci, who won an Oscar about 20 years ago. She's a very famous costume designer, and sometimes they do give it to the name. I don't know who was actually voting in this category, but if it's other costume designers, they're giving it to costume designers that they respect. I think perhaps that could be a factor. And I'm just looking at the list now. I can't see any names that I personally know. Not that I'm really an expert, but I don't see any of the names. So I'm thinking it just could go to Game of Thrones, Downton Abbey. They seem to be the favourites there. And on the other side, maybe the White Queen. It's got the most costumes, and that sometimes helps.
That's the safe bet.
Yeah, although this year's American Horror Story, they submitted their first episode, and that has a lot of flashbacks to the 1800s. So that could definitely factor in that one. Yeah. And of course, with House of Versace, it's about Gianni Versace. Not Gianni Versace, Donatello Versace, the one who's always drunk, who was played so brilliantly by Maya Rudolph on Saturday Night Live.
Yes,
part of the program where I get drunk and look good. That has, of course, is going to have a lot of flashy fashion stuff in there. So,
I'm going to segue one more time. I'm sorry to keep doing this to you. Another category that I really tend to love a lot is the cinematography categories, especially for the single camera series and for miniseries. And for miniseries, if Fargo doesn't win for Sheridan's Arse, which I think is the best episode of the Fargo season, then I'll be pretty disappointed, although The Normal Heart looks like a sure thing there as well. And on the series side, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Homeland, House of Cards, and True Detective. It looks like True Detective is going to do that. That's who goes there? Is that the episode that we were talking about earlier, the tracking shot one?
Yeah, that's a tracking shot.
Like but if they don't care about that and they're thinking more about just the way the shots were composed, I think House of Cards is a beautifully shot show, and so Igor Martinovich might also take that.
Yeah, House of Cards won last year.
Yeah. So that bodes well for them, I suppose.
And is Boardwalk Empire nominated this year? No, because
Boardwalk
Empire won. Empire won 2 years before that.
That's right. Yeah. So anyway, that's always a really interesting category. I hate it when people say, "Oh, my favorite show wasn't nominated," but I gotta say, if you've seen the season 2 finale of Hannibal, there's no way in the world that show should not have been nominated, at least here in the cinematography category. It's an absolute crime. I just had to throw that out there.
Agree.
And it's a deserving one as well.
Yeah.
My favorite category at the Creative Arts, and this just, I guess, is a testament to my maturity, is I still love cartoons. And
Yeah, let's talk about animation.
Animation, yes. Even though the one I was batting for this year, Rick and Morty, was not up, did not get nominated this year. It's okay. I'll deal with it. But you got a good group of nominees this year. Does anybody have any thoughts about that race?
I'm just trying to find the nominees. Can you rattle them off?
Oh yeah,
for
I know.
me?
It's Archer, Bob's Burgers,
Futurama.
South Park, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Wow.
Listen, I would give it to Futurama if I was a voter because
Me too.
the finale was so well received, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about animated, but I still know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When's the last time The Simpsons hasn't been nominated here?
19 years ago.
Whoa.
That is
Look at that.
insane.
And I think that was
that.
the year that I think the last time they weren't nominated. It was because they had submitted themselves for comedy series, and so they couldn't get nominated. They couldn't. They weren't eligible for animation.
Yeah.
Tom O'Neill says Hannibal should kill all Emmy voters and eat them with a few fava beans. And
Agree. Yes.
Oh,
totally
Joe.
agree.
Hannibal was so robbed.
So robbed. I know. My favorite show of the year. That's going to win my personal award. It's going to win a lot of my awards when I finally get time to put them together. Hannibal was incredible. On that note, guys, I have to say goodbye. Thanks for chatting. You guys keep going. I'm just going to eject myself out of here.
Bye,
See you
Rob.
later.
Peace out.
So we
Take care,
have
Rob.
to talk about structured and unstructured. These are new categories this year. They're split up.
Can I just wrap something up quickly with the animation, just very quickly? I just think it's great that Archer got in. I really think it's a spoiler, but South Park has a great episode. I don't know why they weren't able to submit, or why they didn't submit the whole thing as a trilogy, because they've done that before with other episodes. But the Game of Thrones parody episode is so brilliant, and even just the first part of it is so wonderful. But I'm still Archer is a spoiler in this, and I really hope it pulls that out.
Yeah, I think it's Futurama versus South Park are your front runners there, and I think Futurama. And I haven't seen that episode yet, but like they've done really well at winning when they've got the best tape. And if Futurama had the best tape, I think the voters vote for it when it's great. Because they've won about twice in the past. South Park, that's won about 4 times in the past. They obviously like the show. They're prepared to vote for it. Often South Park's beaten by The Simpsons. And boy, you could sort of rule out maybe like your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but the Penguins of Madagascar won a couple of years ago. So you never know.
Ninja Turtles are hot right now. The movie just came out.
It wasn't well reviewed, though. However, this reboot of the show actually has been well reviewed, and it actually even contains a nice homage to the original animated Ninja Turtles that we all grew up with.
And then 24 Emmy, he wants to move on to the reality show races. Are you guys okay moving on?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So this is, whether you like it or not, reality shows are here to stay, and the Emmys are actually creating new categories for them, more categories every single year, it seems like. So this year we have the structured reality program and unstructured. Structured nominees are Antiques Roadshow, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Drive-ins and dives.
Oh my gosh. Mythbusters, Shark Tank, Undercover Boss, and Who Do You Think You Are? I know we haven't really watched the episodes or discussed these a lot, but just going on like first impressions, what do you guys think will win there?
Shark Tank?
Shark Tank is great. I love that show.
I think
one I'm
Undercover
familiar with.
Boss. I mean, it's won 2 years. It's won twice in this, and last year when no one was really giving it a shot.
Yeah, and Undercover Boss won too, and when that won, I'm like, what the heck is going on here? This show doesn't deserve to be in this category. It's just not. It's not very good. I'm sorry. But what Mythbusters submitted? They submitted the episode that was the Breaking Bad special. They had Vince Gilligan. They had Aaron Paul, and they tested 2 theories. both of them were busted, which is kind of disappointing. But they did the bathtub theory, where if you put acid in the bathtub, will it dissolve the body and go through the floor? No, that doesn't happen. And then they did the theory of, oh my gosh, I just watched it. The one where in the season 1 finale where Walt has the chemical, I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Throws it on the ground and creates an explosion. Both were busted. But I mean, come on, it's Breaking Bad, and they're capitalizing on this. That's why they submitted this, because Breaking Bad is a huge Emmy contender.
And more importantly, they did a Google Hangout with us, so they've got to win.
Yeah.
I just think. No, go on, Matt.
Yeah, like I think MythBusters riding on Breaking Bad's coattails is great, like for them, and I think they could win. And if they win, that'll be why. No, it's a great show too, but I think that's a really savvy submission from them.
Yeah.
I think an Undercover Boss is in the race, even though it's just a really long commercial for a company every episode, but it tugs on the heartstrings, and I think that's why you often saw those extreme home makeover shows win this category back when it was called something different, because it was sort of like, oh, these poor people who life is hard on them, get something nice happens to them, and there's a bit of a turnaround, and we all learn something, and we can all have a nice good cry at the end of the episode and feel good about ourselves, and so I think Undercover Boss is in it. I think Who Do You Think You Are pulls on the heartstring. Yeah,
that's a really good point. And the Shark Tank one, I did watch that one. It ends with a guy that makes some of the sharks cry. He's crying because his dream is being realized. And so if it's heartstrings you want, there's a couple options this year.
And it's Shark Week on Discovery Channel, so they can't hurt it.
Yeah.
More important is that Sharknado has premiered. The Sharknado 2 has premiered, and that masterpiece is going to be a big player at next year's Emmys.
Shark buzz at an all-time high. Shark. Everyone's talking about sharks at the water cooler at the moment.
An interesting factor here actually is I'm looking at the list of all the actual nominees for each of these shows. Two of the nominees for Who Do You Think You Are previous Emmy winners for acting, Lisa Kudrow and Dan Bucatinsky. So they could add Emmy number 2 to their mantles if Who Do You Think You Are wins.
Yeah, Bucatinsky got snubbed for Scandal this year, but he did get nominated for a reality program, which is awesome for him. So then
I think one thing we can all agree on is that the last thing Guy Fieri needs is an Emmy.
Yeah, and we've got Mark Burnett for Shark Tank, obviously the survivor and voice producer, and the hosts from MythBusters are also producers there, so they can win Emmys if they win there.
All right, so I think we should just do one more category because we've been talking for a long time now. So let's just end with unstructured reality. That's Alaska, The Last Frontier, Deadliest Catch, Flipping Out, $1 Million Listing New York, Wahlburgers, and Wild Things with Dominic Monaghan. I don't know. I mean, Deadliest Catch, it's won before, so why not?
Yeah, it's won before.
Why not go there?
It had the episode, though. I mean, it had a killer episode. Or maybe that's the wrong word to describe it. But,
I was just going to say, maybe a little.
It was the dying father, and even my mother was telling me about that one, and I'm like, wow, this must have been a big episode. So that I don't know what their episode is this year.
Yeah, I think it was the season premiere. I didn't watch it, but it was a season 10 premiere. Is there any other categories you guys want to talk about before we close out?
I can't think of anything.
I'm pretty good.
All right. So yeah, thanks to everyone for joining us. Sorry we were a little long-winded, but hey, there's 80 categories. So we're going to be there. Me and Ralph are going to be there tomorrow in the Emmys press room. But on the homepage here, just like in years past, we're going to have a live stream Slugfest type video where we're going to reveal the winners as they happen live at goldderby.com. And it's taking place 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's going to be like 3 or 4 hours. So
it's like 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one. Bring your hot cocoa and marshmallows.
Yeah, bring a drink.
Yeah, bring a flask.
Yeah.
And a bottle to pee in.
And these aren't on TV, are they? This is where you come to find out the winners. Goldderby.com.
That's right.
Right. And even the Emmys website, you could go there, but you have to keep refreshing and refreshing and refreshing. So watch our video instead because it's going to be fun.
Oh. And we'll announce it will be fun. Like, it'll be fun with us. Like, it won't just be refreshing a browser. We'll announce them. We'll talk about the
Matt's gonna change outfits like 6 times between the whole thing. It's gonna be great.
You should totally do that. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
We'll bring it up in the producers' meeting. We'll see.
Bye-bye.